Okay. Same night, different movie. We're starting, Rob. I know what you're gonna say, and I'm sticking to it. Even though I had a bit of a fumble, we're gonna start the next movie just to keep up.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. As you can see, I've got the new setup. So tonight I'm going to be watching the rest of Avengers. So this is the part 2 of Avengers. I have it on a TV screen to my left that you won't be able to see. I filmed the part 1. So this is not part 2. This is just the video. But I'm part 2ing myself. Sam is not with me. She's working tonight. So we're going to miss her. It's not quite the same without watching it with her. I watched Iron Man without her, but it's actually kind of fun to have somebody who's seen the Marvel movies alongside, because I'm getting sort of an A-B of what my perspective is coming in fresh and her perspective is of having had all the context. I have so much to say about the cinematography in this movie. And also, not that there's a better, I couldn't suggest a better way to shoot it, but something about shooting Robert Downey Jr.'s face inside of the helmet, where he's just doing this. It just, every time they cut to that shot, it like pulls me out of it, because all I can think about is how they just shot his face. It just feels so stupid. I don't know. I would love to see a cut where they don't go to that, and it's just his voice and a shot of Iron Man. Trying to think if maybe they put some sort of a robot motion in his face, even if it was super subtle. I feel like you could communicate that, because it's not like he's ever, I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to justify his paycheck, because I know at the time Robert Downey Jr. was like the highest paid actor in cinema, because he made like $50 million, I think, an episode per film. He's moving his head inside of a helmet that I would presume is like semi-flush, even if there's like an inch, but like some of it's like he's moving. And also, why is he moving his head around? He has his HUD display right here, and he's just moving his eye. He's looking through a mask, like, why is he doing this? What's he looking at? Is there a giant TV screen of, you know what I'm saying? I realize this is a very stupid thing to care so much about. So what did I think of Avengers? I actually have a lot of thoughts about this movie. Having rewatched them all of Phase 1, this is by far, I think, the strongest movie. This is when Avengers hit their stride. They sort of like, it feels like they saved up all of their energy and just pumped out the most strong, they were looking at investors in the eyes, and they're like, yeah, and just wait till Avengers. And it's true. This one has the strongest writing. All the characters that they've developed, they like super pumped up their charisma. They super pumped up their, dialogue and everything. It's very fun, but above all, the cinematography is really interesting and fun. To think of a couple shots, I love all the upside down stuff with the Tesseract that they did in Thor. There's one shot in particular that I love where you're looking at a dead alien next to a broken motorcycle mirror, and in that you're watching Captain America and you're hearing his dialogue and he dips. I think that's like just such a different shot for a movie like this. I think it's really cool, kind of creative. There's a lot of like perspective stuff. But in order for me to explain what I really enjoy about this movie, requires me to get a little bit cinema nerdy a little bit in terms of technicality. So there's a scene where they're all standing around the Tesseract and they're all talking, 7 of them or something, and they're having a conversation. And the way that scene is done, if you watch closely, is really cool, because there's something in film known as the line of continuity. So, for example, you can't cut to a shot of me talking to a character here and then also cut to a shot of me talking to a character here, right? And you would need to cut it from here to me talking the other. So you're showing that they're facing each other. So you can't you have to visually give a sense of space and direction. Unless you have two characters talking, you can't have one and then cut to the other one looking the same direction. They have to be looking the opposite direction. Otherwise, it gets very confusing as to what direction they're looking at. Just like a car can't go this way and then cut to another shot where a car goes this way. Otherwise, you're implying that the car turned direction. But in order to make, because sometimes they have those shots, but in order to make that work, you'll see a car go this way, and then you can cut to the front of a car, or a car going this way or coming at you, right? And then you can cut to the other side. So you have to cross the line of continuity. And it's also referred to as the 180 degree rule, because you have 180 degrees that you can work with. And in order to cross to that other side, to this other side of the circle, you have to show something that isn't directional. You have to show something oncoming, outgoing, a different shot entirely, something, before you can show an opposite direction. Otherwise, it's confusing. So this is tough to do when you have a group of people who are standing in a circle and they're all talking to each other and the dialogue is bouncing all over the place. It's like, how do you even begin to navigate that sense of continuity? The trick here, which is really well done in this scene, is that you focus on the character's eyes. So you might have one person here talking, and then one person over here is going to talk. But what they do is they cut to a shot of a character who's not talking, who will go like this with their eyes. They'll go. And just that, you're guiding the audience to understand the sense of room, the sense of direction, the sense of space, to know, okay, you have a shot of someone here, now you're going to guide them over here, and now they're looking in a different space, and so you can cut to another shot of them here, and it kind of makes sense. There's so much of that happening with the dialogue, and it seems like nothing, but it's so well calculated, the blocking, the understanding of the blocking of that scene, of knowing who says what, who's standing where, what you have to do, because this is something where you're getting shots of everyone talking, but you also, on production, on site, you have to also get shot, knowing that you need a shot. Okay, I need a shot of Thor going like this. You have to know where Thor is going to be standing. You have to know where the other character is standing. And they do that so much, and it makes that scene work so well. Something that is really, really tricky. And it's not like it's unique. There's other movies that do these kind of things. But I just think that's a great example of navigating the line of symmetry for a huge conversation like that. And there's lots of examples that it's done badly in. One example that's done really well, little known piece that you've probably seen, there's a great play called 12 Angry Men. There's a black and white movie. It's done very well in that, because the whole movie takes place in a room where people are talking, and it's 12 people. It's a court thing, and they do that very well. So got to give tip of the hat to that. Again, I think that just comes down to the cinematography is really, really well done. I'm already going so long, but a quick another point that I'll make is that a moment that I really like, that I think, I've been talking a lot about the Marvel Cinematic Universe voice, because I think Marvel, what it's done really well with its branding, from what I've seen, is that it has a very clear voice, it has a very clear sense of comedy, and I think one of the best examples of the movies that I've seen to nail what that sense of comedy is you have this big thing with Loki at the end, where he's doing this monologue to Iron Man, there's a fight and whatever, and then here comes Hulk, and Loki revs up to do that monologue, the classic villain monologue, and before he can even get 3 words out, Hulk takes him and just smashes him on the ground. And so it takes all the air, takes all the seriousness out of it, of like an action movie, and reminds you, like, it clashes action with comedy. And that's one I remember, again, a huge laugh being in the theater for that. And I think about that too when I saw Thor, Love and Thunder. There's a lot of those moments where it's like taking a very serious moment and it instantly clashes it with a moment of comedy without any sort of buffer. It's just changes the genre, and that's a minor example of it, but it's really not that common for American cinema. Like if you watch a lot of Korean movies, so for example, a lot of Asian movies like Korean, It's very common for their genres to mix. So like for us, we watch a horror movie and we expect it to be a serious tone throughout. In a lot of other countries, that's not the case. They'll mix in comedy or, basically like funny moments where they'll even play like silly music over someone being murdered. But it's not like here you might see that as like a scary movie or a parody movie. But in other countries, that just is it. They're just entertainment in that way. So it's not even like some kind of unique thing. That's just the standard. Anyways, that's my long-winded way of saying that Marvel does that very well, where they mix action with comedy, but not in like a buddy cop way. But they have a very specific voice of how they will set up a scene, give a pun, release the tension, build that back up really quickly. And I think that translates to a tremendous amount of charisma. And I think that's why their casting of who they have in their movies is super important to their brand. And I think that was really set by Robert Downey Jr. If I can continue to keep giving him credit, I think his ability to set that tone really early on with Iron Man was major. Because if we look at even like Thor, Thor isn't terribly funny, but cut to Thor Love and Thunder that I saw, suddenly it's a hilarious bash. So I think that he set that tone. That's enough. Getting too worked up. Let me see what the next movie is. Hold on. All right, so the next movie is going to be of Phase 2, which takes place from 2013 to 2015, and that's Iron Man 3, followed by Thor Dark World, Captain Winter Soldier, which I'm very excited for, Guardians of the Galaxy, I have actually seen that, Avengers Age of Ultron, and then Ant-Man. So we're going to start treading into some very different territory for me, and I can't wait to see. Honestly, again, the thing that I'm most interested is watching the voice of Marvel evolve. Thank you.